I was incarcerated at the age of 12 for a murder that I regretfully and sadly committed. And I met Dr. White when I was 21 at the WIN unit as I was pursuing my bachelor's degree in psychology. And I'm gonna tell you that the it was been different points in my life where I could say that, I had to look at myself in the mirror and and accept some of the terrible choices that I had made in my life, and and it was hurtful. Well, she was probably like the second time that I had to look in the mirror, because when she shared her story, I felt a sense of a conviction, because I was like, I actually did something similar to hurt someone in this manner. And it was the first time that I had ever heard the victim side of the story when she shared, the video that they had did with HBO. And initially, I felt ashamed. Like I couldn't, I took her classes, but I felt ashamed. I couldn't look in the eye. I avoided talking because I felt so convicted in my heart to know that I had, committed, something that was similar to what she experienced. And one day after class, she pulled me to the side and she told me, she said, "Well, I just want to check on you and ask you how you've been doing." And I said, "I'm doing fine." She was Miss White at that time. She hadn't got the doctor yet. She was still Miss White. And I told her that I was fine. She told me that she had received a letter, or it was an email asking her to protest against my release. And she told me, she said that she used to be part of these groups that parents of murdered children, and things of that nature. And so we got to talking, and I broke down in the hallway, like, just with her. And I just expressed to her, that at that time that I felt so ashamed, just like even being in her presence, knowing that I inflicted, because it made me think about my own victim's mother and what the type of pain that I inflicted upon her. And that one day began, a friendship that lasted, for what, 20 years. And what she did for me was that she helped me to understand not only the victim side of the story, but that restorative justice was possible even in my life. Like that, it was like forgiveness was possible even for me. And it changed the way in which I looked at wanting to receive that forgiveness and show my remorse to my own victim's mother. And that began my process towards that, which eventually led to me taking Bridges to Life in 2000. About 15 years later, I took the Bridges to Life program. And shortly after taking the Bridges to Life program, I was able to meet with my victim's mother. We went through the victim offender mediation process, and I was able to express their remorse. And of course, that was so life changing for me. And so, had it not been, for God placing her in my life at that point in my life, to help me to understand that the change was possible, that forgiveness was possible, that that me showing my remorse would be so much of a help, because I never thought I could do anything for my victim's mother because I had hurt her so much. And she showed me that there's something that you could do. And that's exactly what I did. So I'm gonna stop right there. I'm just grateful for the opportunity to honor her in this manner, because she had a great profound impact on my life. Thank you.